What a drama. Josh's ex is still wallowing in sorrow, forcing her into the dirtiest jobs as if to stage a comedy, but Josh ignores him completely. After several bumps in the road, the guy finally lost his patience, deciding to take the cheapest shot to vent his frustrations. That day, Josh and her daughter attended her son's hockey game with friends, family, and her awkward parents. Plus, the involvement of her best friend's attempt to introduce her to a lawyer added to the lively atmosphere as the ex, having not obtained what he wanted, decided to concoct falsehoods. In her eyes, Josh had become the bad girl who seduced her, causing the boy to feel utterly humiliated. She harbored a deep desire to escape and distance herself from her mother, when suddenly Josh lunged forward, almost wrenching her off her friend's car, with everyone's gaze turning into sharp daggers at that moment. Every gaze felt like heavy shackles, making Josh tongue-tied, not due to guilt, but because of the brewing storm of public opinion. After sending the kids home, she finally dared to drop her tough exterior and realized she couldn't keep putting up with this. She called a meeting with the girls at the mine, determined to band together and complain, because this situation wasn't just hers alone. They all shared their own similar experiences, and, indeed, this was the America of the 80s. Back then, the law's definition of sexual harassment was murky, facing pain wasn't easy, and on top of that, they feared losing their jobs. So they all chose to quietly swallow it, but not Josh. She boldly marched into the headquarters. She had met the boss at a local diner. He was as polite as a gentleman, but this time she wasn't looking to make a good impression. She still didn't fully grasp the true face of capitalism, and when she asked to leave, the boss coldly suggested she just go ahead and resign. "I need this job," she said. "I suggest you stop flirting with the female partners. And stop spending so much time in bed with your married male partners, and maybe just, spend a little more time being pouring all her efforts into improving her performance." But under the pressure of making ends meet, Josh ultimately chose to compromise. However, some things can't just be endured. Her son faced accusations at school. He had to quit the hockey team he loved, and the locker room at the mine was also filled with hostility because of her complaint. They shouldn't be doing this, but they absolutely can, and it was all like a bad joke. They'd keep on acting out their misdeeds. As long as you keep shouting about it, that becomes the new normal time to start cleaning this mess up. At work, someone boldly mocked, "Hey Josh, do you like your paper collar? Why don't you just rip that collar off?" Her ex dragged her to a secluded spot, pinning her against a pile of rocks. Being rough about it, he verbally assaulted her, ripping open old wounds. "Do you want to die? Stop messing with me. Stop exposing me, or I'll make you feel like a clown," he threatened before bolting away. Left alone, Josh wept silently, gathering herself to confront that guy at the diner. "He hit me." An admirer of her stepped in to question him, but her ex flatly denied it. "I'm confined in a bottle throughout the day, and he's constantly keeping an eye on me." Ricky, the father, was unfortunately nowhere to be seen. Alone and unsupported, Josh decided to leave, only to run into her boss on the way out. "Where do you think you're going?" This time Josh wouldn't just endure, his patience alone would only make things worse. She approached a former volunteer lawyer, wanting to take the whole mine to court, but he was reluctant to get involved in this mess. Up until now, there hadn't been a successful sexual harassment case, and the women who lost all bore the slut label. "Take my advice, find a new job and get started. I haven't even begun yet." In the end, the lawyer took the case, partly because he liked Josh. The other part was that no one had ever challenged this before, and if they won, it would go down in history. And the only way to secure a victory was to initiate a class action lawsuit in pursuit of justice. That way, the company wouldn't easily claim Josh was lying or mentally unstable. She needed to find others. Rallying support wasn't easy, as even her closest friend rejected her pleas. The iron mine was the economic backbone for most people in town, and no one was willing to stand by her. When the court convened, the mine produced a document signed by all the female employees, disclaiming any harassment. Luckily, the judge possessed a unique and discerning eye, recognizing the crucial point: as long as 3 people signed up to appeal, the class action suit would officially go through. So, Josh and her lawyer hit the road, seeking out the youngest girl at the mine, Shelley, who had been harassed the most. But her mother was seriously ill, and she had no choice but to decline. The lawyer also approached her best friend, hoping she'd understand. "Justice for the people mustn't be allowed to wither in the biting cold. We must act." Thus, on that silent night, Josh made her way to the workers' assembly held at the mine, hoping to gain their support through a speech. However, to her surprise, she was immediately met with mocking as soon as she set foot on the stage. The laughter broke out continuously around her, not giving her any opportunity to speak. Joa Subat. No one was willing to fight for Josh, leaving her to bear the brunt of the malice alone, until her dad stood up to speak. Some can relate, some remain indifferent, and that alone, undoubtedly, is reason enough. His words not only spoke for his daughter, but also became a rallying cry, acting like a high wall against injustice. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe and hit that little bell.